So we have a lot of expertise here to help with this presentation. We have about 1.5 minutes more for people to finish joining. And as I said to the first people joining, if you want to share with us where you're from. Cool. All right. So we'll get started in about 30 seconds. From the University of Jodhpur. Cool. Okay. And since it's just about the top of the hour in India, I'm going to go ahead and start presentation and welcome everyone to this program preview of our business analytics program with IIT Roorkee with modules from IBM. And my name is Stuart Creek. I'm with Simplilearn. So is Mohan George. We are the delivery partner for IIT Roorkee for this particular program. And we have with us Professor Tarun Sharma, who I'll speak about in just a moment. We'll be asking questions about you through the process, so watch for those polls. We're going to be talking about business analysis and careers in the field, career opportunities that you'll have in the field. Then we'll go over what the program from IIT Roorkee offers you and how it can get you job ready for taking a career or embarking on a career in business analytics. The emphasis of this program also is for working professionals to add business analytics skills to their repertoire, to their toolkit, so that you are able to do better decision making in your work. So this is kind of a multi-layered program for that purpose. We'll go over enrollment steps and a bonus offer. So if you stay with us through the webinar, we will share with you a special bonus you receive for being here this evening. And of course, Dr. Sharma and Mohan George will be here to answer your questions. Professor, if you'd like to tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Thanks, Stuart. So I am Tarun Sharma. So I'm currently based at IIT Roorkee. So I'm affiliated with the Department of Management Studies. So I'm an assistant professor. I'm an assistant professor in the area of operations management. So I teach courses on operations and supply chain management, production operations planning, quality management, and decision models. And specifically, I publish in the area of energy policy and modeling. So applying these operations tools or optimization methods, production planning, etc., kind of methods to energy sector particularly. And I published a few papers, and those would be my teaching engagements. And I'll probably speak more in a while about the course contents.
Great, thank you. And energy policy is a very exciting area over the last almost 2 years now, with the fact that the war in Ukraine has disrupted so much of the world's energy supply. So that on top of the pandemic is a fascinating area. And we'll talk about careers in business analysis, why business analysis is so very important. So if you could share with us, Professor, why this statement is true.
We can think of business as constituted by multiple processes You could organize, say, them across functional domains, across middle management, top level management, or whatnot. So it's always been important to sort of understand these individual processes, group them into sets, and then be able to manage them. So essentially, to be able to probe the output, determine if it's correct, incorrect, and then have a feedback loop, and then be able to manage the processes to some end. The some end could be, say, being profitable, being resilient, being agile, or whatnot. So these things have been there for so businesses have existed for a long time now. But increasingly, what's been changing is, of course, that now we have a lot more visibility of the processes. We have a lot more data capture about the process, and then that opens up a whole avenue of things, yeah, be it related to automation or say maybe controlling the processes in a better manner, motivating employees, or maybe scheduling, assigning work, monitoring work, controlling process control, process optimization, or whatnot. There's an n number of things which could be done. Increasingly so because now we have, say, increasing amounts of data being captured about processes, and then we have increasing capabilities to store the data in a decentralized manner, in a centralized manner, and then, in fact, do something about the data, get some insight, and then be able to do something about the process. And that is the process of, say, business analysis. So analyzing the component processes, um, yeah, get a bunch of data about it, and then be able to do some analytics on top of it, and then generate some actionable insights. And yeah, so on the slide we have, yeah, the first point is about explosion of data. So I've given you some context. And historically, say, if one is to sketch, say, the major paradigm shifts in how things get done, how businesses get done. So we can go all the way back to, say, a steam engine, then electricity, programmable logical controllers, the data thing, the internet, what we say, the Internet of Things 4, that's being the latest paradigm. And along with comes, say, machine learning, data analytics, business analytics for that matter. And yeah, increasingly companies have this as a separate vertical altogether. So bigger companies will have a in-house, say, analytics vertical, and some other companies, maybe smaller ones, tend to outsource some of these things. So yeah, the assertion, the belief essentially is that the business success depends on business analysis, this capability to first capture data, analyze it, and then be able to take some actionable insights to maybe become competitive at the marketplace. And of course, the hypothesis, this proposition tends to be confirmed in various polls, surveys. And the topic essentially is quite trendy and topical.
And you know, the first business records that still exist were pressed into clay tablets in cuneiform by the Babylonians. So
Yeah.
back when that was done, you couldn't really do much with the data other than refer back to it as a historical record. Fast forward to our modern day, where not only can you record the data, but you can actually manipulate it, you can use it in calculations, and you can then start to extract information, insights, projections from it. So we live in a very different time, and
Um,
the
and
cool.
especially,
Go ahead. Go
uh,
ahead.
just jump in there, Stuart. And sorry for cutting you. So,
Oh,
like earlier, we'd say, an experienced manager is worthwhile, but increasingly, that experience, sort of, which is sort of the learning basis exposure to the data, to the process over extended period of time. Of late, analytics has sort of come to replace that to some extent. So it's possible to sort of tease out insights, see, which otherwise will take, say, long years to accumulate in some person's head, say, with repeated exposure over a long period of time. So of late, sort of that is sort of that saying that experienced manager is better than say, maybe a new hire, or maybe a technically competent manager. But then of late, then that's changing to some extent.
yeah. And the important thing is to understand. We always get questions about how, for example, artificial intelligence will impact these types of careers. And the important thing to remember is that uh, systems can generate information, but it takes people to turn that information into knowledge and insights. And
Mhm.
that's that's really the key about what we're talking about. The career paths available, be a data analyst being the general term for people who extract information and insights from data in arbitrary areas. Then you can kind of specialize into business analyst, which is what we're talking about today. And then project manager or other roles that take that set of skills and build upon it. So if you're looking to enter into the career as a business analyst, that's one path. If you're already in a career and you want to leverage that career with business analytics skills, you have the ability to move up your salary scale where you are. So this is all to say that this is a key to a well-paying career, whether it's in business analytics particularly, or using business analytics to empower yourself as a manager or executive. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, but I tend to believe that. And of course, these claims, such assertions are basis maybe various surveys conducted by various consultancies. So that seems to be the general belief, yes. So we do see firsthand, say, basis the data that we have exposure to. So these things, these skills are in demand, and people tend to get placed better compared
Yeah.
to, say, some other expertise in other functional areas.
Yeah, by the way, the source for these numbers is Glassdoor India, so these are current in the job market. So you talk about being able to engage in a business analytics career, and the kind of the graphic at the right-hand side talks about how this role exists at the intersection of a number of different skill areas. So can you talk about why it's important to build out a broad range of skills, even if you're going to specialize in just one particular area? Talk about business analytics as the general heading for the skills, but that includes the different types of statistical analysis for descriptive functions, for prescriptive direction on what to do, and then predictive to tell you what is likely to happen. Data analytics, of course, is the set of tools that data scientists will provide to you to uh, analyze and understand the data. And then those tools include regression methods, hypothesis testing, and so forth. But the tools of visualization and storyboarding are very important, because once you create the insights, extract the insights from the data, you've got to be able to communicate those insights. So being able to tell the story, being able to provide visualizations of the data, and putting that into interactive dashboards that managers and executives can understand. That's really also a very important aspect of business analysis, isn't it?
Yeah, sure. And yeah, so the things listed in the bullet points are sort of the common themes which emerge, as you correctly state. So, say, business analysis would require an overlap with, say, maybe the technical knowledge of that particular process. But nonetheless, there are some generic, say, thematic things which emerge. Of course, some things are then very industry specific. So some things are more applicable to, say, finance. So you could be doing, say, portfolio optimization. But then the optimization at the back end is sort of generic. So there's applications, for instance, in production planning, if you want to do maybe scheduling or employee roster making. So some of these things are, say, generic, and then they have specific information, specific application in specific industries or functional areas. And of course, both are required. So you need, you need to be willing to engage with the process. Just having, say, the competence of, say, generic methods will get you so far. But then again, it requires, you need to get your hands dirty. But nonetheless, say overall, these are sort of the theme which emerge across. So say, as Stuart already went over the list, so regression, yeah, linear, logistic, multiple regression, hypothesis testing, again, testing your belief about anything about the market, about quality control, process control, but also a lot of, say, subheadings within these. But say broadly, yeah, these things tend to reoccur across processes, across industries, across businesses. And storyboarding, visualization is by no means a simple task. So say some complex analysis can throw maybe upwards of 1 lakh data points, and then you need to, it's a task in itself to find out, to pinpoint the thing for which you conducted the analysis, to pinpoint that. And you have to perform another set of routines on top of it. And visualizing that is by no means a trivial task. And then again, then getting the information in the right format to the right people to take some maybe actions, some decisions basis that, say, storyboarding or
Yeah.
building interactive dashboards. So yeah.
Yeah, will share an insight I got from one of the senior decision analysts at Salesforce, who talked about the interaction between the analytic and decision support area and the users. And we always think of the interaction as being the user comes to you and says, I want to find out about this particular thing. And you look into the data, find the right analytic tool, and then come back to them with answers. But he pointed out that very often you'll go to the users and say, we now know how to find out this kind of information. Would that be useful to you? So it's really a place where it's a collaborative effort between you, analytics role, and the users of the information, whether the management role, operations role, executives, that type of thing. So it's a pretty exciting field because it puts you at the center of strategy and planning for your organization. I'm going to ask that first poll question, and what this poll question goes into is, what has stopped you? We're all here to talk about learning certification in business analysis, and what has stopped you in the audience from taking a course of this type, taking that first step? Choose more than one of these reasons. I'll leave this open just for another 5 seconds. So please do put in your answers. Hit the submit button. I will close the poll now. So the chief concern of our audience is getting practical exposure, feeling confident the program would give you practical experience that you could use to demonstrate your new set of skills. And that harkens back to what Professor Sharma just said about getting your hands dirty. Then finding a program with a comprehensive curriculum is very important. And the third is finding a program that will fit into your schedule as a working professional. So we'll talk about those aspects of the business analytics for strategic decision-making program. And from IIT Roorkee, delivered by Simplilearn, and in collaboration with IBM for some of the course content. This is a 6-month program, fully online. So did you want me to continue with that description, Professor? Do you want to go ahead and talk about the kind of general points of the program?
So there's a lot of pre-recorded content, and I think IBM takes some of the online live virtual classrooms. We also have masterclasses in between. So where we could say for instance, I'm taking a live class, I think 27 next month. So which is an opportunity to either discuss, revisit maybe some things which have been covered in the videos, or maybe expand on it if people have appetite, the participants, the learners in the course have appetite. And there are, of course, checks So when you've gone through some material, then there's some Q&A that need to get through. And of course, it gives lots of flexibility with the pre-recorded content. It's a sort of the optimal mix between the pre-recorded and the live ones, because again, there's this tension between flexibility and say live sessions, of course, have higher engagement, but then again, several people find it difficult to find that time. It's sort of a trade-off between them, and sort of trying to find that sweet spot. And there'll be case studies and hands-on projects as well. Yeah.
That's correct, and it's fully online, so it's on one platform. So you're taking your live virtual classes on the same platform that gives you virtual machines to do your integrated case studies and hands-on projects. And as the professor just pointed out, while the live classes are scheduled and you have to meet at those class times, the rest of the material you can do on anytime the rest of the week, 24/7. The platform's always available. There's support always available. You have people that you can turn to, whether you want to pose questions to your peers or instructors, or whether you want to turn to the 24/7 help desk. So you have the ability, if you're working at 3 o'clock in the morning on a particular project, to turn to somebody in case you've reached a doubt or a blocker. So we'll also be talking about the curriculum in a moment. So the end of the process, you receive, of course, the certificate from IIT Roorkee that tells the world that they stand behind your education, your acquisition of these skills, because you completed the program and successfully demonstrated those skills. You'll get certificates along the way for the different component courses within the program, including the IBM courses, and you'll also have access to other content from IBM with hackathons, Ask Me Anything sessions, masterclasses, so that you get some additional exposure to folks in industry. And then one aspect that we are very proud to provide for Simplilearn is Job Assist Career Assistance, where we will help with your job search by providing you tools through our partner IIM Jobs. I'm going to ask Mohan to talk about that in a little while. So, Professor, can you tell us about the IIT Roorkee background and advantage, why this is a great institution for this program?
Yeah, sure. So you have a nice picture there. So yeah, that is the main building, Thompson Building of IIT Roorkee, and it's usually the picture for IIT Roorkee. So Roorkee is located in the state of Uttarakhand, so it's some 3-4 hours away from Delhi. And yeah, that is where the institute is administered from, the building that you see in the picture. And yeah, we have more than, I think, close to 550 faculty members, more than 8,000 students across, say, undergraduate program, the postgraduate program, and the PhD programs. So upwards of, I think, 23 departments, full-time departments, and other different centers. And so my affiliation is to the Department of Management Studies, and so is the affiliation of other faculty members. So you have Professor Ramesh, Professor Amit, Professor Tripathi, and Professor Anik. So when the program was launched, everybody of us was based at IIT Roorkee at the Management Studies Department. But now we have, of course, Professor Anik has moved to IIM Kolkata, and Professor Tripathi is at IIT Kanpur. And our department ranks first in 2020 rankings in the research and professional practices category. And ours is sort of we recently celebrated our as an institute 175 years of its foundation. So it was set up in 1847, and we're proud to be the oldest technical institution in Southeast South Asia. And our own department, the Management Studies Department, is celebrating, in fact, currently the 25th year of its establishment. And that's a brief about the institution. And I encourage you to visit the website. So IITR website or the department websites, and even the faculty profiles or backgrounds There are a lot of details on the websites about what all we teach, what all we research, what projects we are doing. So there's plenty of information, and I encourage you to engage with the websites.
Yeah. Thank you. And that just emphasizes the value of education program with IIT Roorkee. We enhance that with the partnership with IBM because they can provide industry standard courses in certain technical areas. They can provide you with, as I mentioned, exposure to IBM personnel and industry personnel through the different sessions you'll have access to. And you'll receive certificates from IBM for those specialized courses. So those are in addition to and adding value to the IIT Roorkee certificate. So we're very proud of that affiliation as well. So I'd like Mohan, if you could, and I don't want to put you on the spot. If you prefer, I can do this for you. But I'd like to talk about, like you to talk about the Job Assist service and what it provides to our learners.
Yep, sure, Stuart. Hi, everyone. So in terms of job assist, the job assist would be provided from the Simplilearn end. And we have partnered with various vendors, like we mentioned here, like IIM Jobs. And you would be getting a premium service from their end, along with some of the sessions for preparing your resume to ensure that you land in the right job. So this is the support. Okay, yeah, we have the slide here. So we have a job portal where you can get access to the premium jobs with IIM Jobs portal. And then there are some services where you can update your resume based on the courses you learn and based on the jobs which you are applying for. And there would be some other webinars where it will help you to prepare yourself for the interview. So more details, we can share it later. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's always important to point out the resume review and rewrite service and the interview service because today your resume, when you submit it, will not be seen by a human being until it is processed by an AI bot, which will extract information from your resume, compare it to the job description, either filter you in or filter you out of the job search. So it's important to have your resume written in a style. The AI bot can easily recognize your experience and your skills, filter you in, but then it still has to go in front of a human being. When it arrives on their desk or on their screen, they need to see that resume and have visual appeal from it that prompts them to contact you. So that's a real art form that the resume writers can help you with. And similarly with the interview practice, you can have so many different kinds of interviews that you must go through in a new job search or seeking a promotion, where you have phone screen, you have the skills interviews for evaluating your technical capabilities, and then you have the cultural fit to look at your ability to be a team player, your work ethic, your fit with the corporation culture. So all of those interview types have different flavors and require you to put different sides of you forward. And being able to practice each one of those is really a great benefit of this program. And as Mohan said, there's a number of webinars that we run which give you access to advice on how to do your job search, advice on how to care for and feed your career over time, and then look at prospects within different technical areas, and even take some mini lessons for free. All of these, by the way, are free webinars. We run them definitely. They're accessible from everywhere. And the other part of this is the fact that you have industry aligned projects which give you the ability to take a challenge from industry, something that's a real life case study, and apply your skills, learn how to solve that problem, provide the solution. So, Professor, how does that process work in the courses?
Yeah, Stuart, so there have been some, say, usually the content that we give, so basically, say, development of theory, the tools, the techniques, demonstrate some hands-on, and then, of course, conclude, say, with the case study, or talk more, say, about some practical application, and then maybe leave with an assignment. But again, the depth, the if in the learner's experience, it will be easy, difficult, moderate, depends on their exposure. So there's usually a fair, there's a proper continuum. So that the content is pitched at, say, a medium level, so not too difficult, not too easy. And yeah, some of the problems which are provided by the faculty members. And of course, some of us have, say, large experience, for instance, across the 4 or 5 faculty members that we have. They do have, say, considerable industry experience as well. So again, if the learners, how the learners register it, so it'll be a continuum. So some things might probably come a little easy, some things might be a little difficult. But then, yeah, we do try. So especially, say, case studies, say, in my content, the content which I have recorded. So I speak more about, say, some electricity sector. So that is the area I specialize in. Yeah. So,
Yep.
and of course, yeah, that is how it is structured.
Right. And as you said, because people have different experiences of how difficult they find it, there's always support where you can turn to your peers, your instructors, even the help desk from Simplilearn to get assistance to help keep you on track and keep you up with the material. So you shouldn't feel like um, you would be out of your depth. You'll always have somebody to help you make that um, transition from one course to the next successfully. We talk about the eligibility and the prerequisites. So there's a drive to apply the business analytics concepts. You have to have that. This is targeted at working professionals, so you do have to have at least 6 years of work experience. But you do not have to come into this with any prior coding experience or technology know-how. So this is the type of program that will equip you to apply business analytics skills in your current career, or pivot to a business analytics role within your organization or in a new job. So let's ask this question about how much experience you folks in the audience do have. I will start this poll now. Pretty straightforward, so I'm just going to leave this open for about 20 seconds. And I'll close the poll in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Say about a quarter of our audience, I think if I'm reading that right, have more than 5 years of experience. A lot of you are still studying, so this is something that will be appropriate for you down the road, but we'll keep touch with you about that. But for the folks of you who have more years of experience, this is an ideal program for you. Let's go on now to how this program prepares you. This is what's inside the program and how it gets you job ready. So I just want to mention the learning environment. It's all done through the learning management system that allows you to see the components of your curriculum, to take your live classes through the virtual classroom on your laptop or desktop, and also to do your labs and tests in those areas. Complete those, submit those, and have them assessed all through the same platform. Capstone project, which we'll talk about in a bit, and then progress tracking, which allows you to see which courses you've completed, how far you are along in each class and each course, generate a certificate once you complete a course, that lets you unlock the next course in your series. Of course, as I mentioned several times, the support tools, which include a community, social media type bulletin board, as well as the 24/7 help desk and other automated tools to answer your questions. So this learning environment is available to you 24/7, and the live classes are scheduled. You need to be prepared to attend those, but everything else is available to you on your schedule when you feel that you have the time to do it. And much of the material, as Professor Sharma said, pre-recorded videos can be accessed on your tablet or your smartphone, so you can take this learning with you wherever you go. So, Professor, if we could go through the program curriculum and how it builds people's skills in a stepwise fashion.
Yeah, so I think we progress from bottom to top, or left to right. So at the bottom, we have the orientation session. So maybe some more detail, the version that you're doing now, maybe in some more detail. So we prep or orient or dispose the learners towards what's to come. And then the foundational concepts about data analytics that could include, say, probability, statistics, some linear algebra, some basic calculus. So these, say, we basically pull upon some of the ideas. So again, they are all vast areas in themselves. But then for business, and again, we don't need to know everything about everything. So we pick and choose, say, from calculus, how to optimize a function, how to write set notation, and what means quadratic optimization or whatnot. Then from probability, elementary, plotting histograms of various categories of probability distributions, and so on. And then say, building one upon the other. So individually, they are simple concepts, but then eventually they become really, really powerful. They equip you to then ask increasingly interesting and challenging questions about business processes. So think maybe a quality control, think production planning, or there are several examples. Those of you who know probably can relate to what I'm referring to. Those of you who don't, it's okay. You can always, maybe once you get exposed to these domains, you'll find more. Statistical analysis, regression, and other advanced techniques, multiple regression, logistic, and all those. Exploratory data analyses and visualization. So R has a set of libraries which are very, very powerful. And of course, there are other tools out there as well, a good set of libraries in Python as well, which allows you to handle, say, multi-dimensional data sets and perform really powerful visuals, trying to explore maybe correlations or heat maps, and render the data in a manner which is, say, easy to interpret. And then predictive analytics. Then once you have sort of understood or established some relationships, then what do you do about it? So one thing is it helps you summarize the load of information that is there and understand key patterns. And then, of course, the next thing is then you want to anticipate what's going to happen next, and then position yourself accordingly. Take your actions or strategies, make strategies accordingly. And prediction, then prescription is sort of the two different things. So prescriptive, usually we do optimization and things like that. So we call them prescription. So having maybe made a forecast for the next quarter, then how do you maybe plan your production? How do you do your master production schedule and those kind of things? That's prescriptive. And machine learning, there are several paradigms. So machine learning, again, is AI is a big thing. To think, maybe you're thinking of so you have this text generation. So ChatGPT is there, or Picasso is there. So of course we don't go there. So we don't want to learn maybe a natural language processing or say those concepts which are very, very core AI. But then again, there are other paradigms. Say reinforcement learning is there. There is principal component, say unsupervised learning. Say we do clustering, k-means clustering, principal component analysis, and of course supervised learning. So linear regression, so things which historically or hitherto we would refer to under the category of say statistical analysis also qualifies in some sense as some paradigms of say machine learning. So to reason about what constitutes learning. And then all of them coming together in a capstone project, where it's so again, each of these concepts individually can be simple, can be complex in their own right. Say, I'm thinking maybe singular value decomposition from linear algebra. So you need quite an advanced knowledge of linear algebra to be able to grasp that. But then again, we don't necessarily, maybe as a business analyst, need to know the too much underlying details. So the concepts are advanced enough that we have their implementations in some programming languages as packages, and we just need to run with that then, and then pull all these things together and then see what works, what is able to sort of deliver some actionable insight. And capstone is essentially where we have, say, real world problem, maybe something open ended. You need to apply yourself, because I think that's a skill in itself, to be able to find out what sort of, if somebody's there to tell you what to apply and what kind of insights to generate, then I think that's one set of things to do. That's one competence. But then to be able to find, to be able to determine how where to begin, that's something, that's another category of competence. And then I think in the capstone, that's the idea. There's a much more open-ended problem. And on the right-hand side, so we have a bunch of electives. So masterclasses, industry masterclasses, mathematical optimization, visualization, and so all those would be available as electives.
Yep, and the electives are available at no extra charge, so that you can take as many or few of them as you wish. We always recommend that you take as many as you have the interest in and the time for, because they enrich your understanding, especially the master classes, because they let you hear live from folks like Professor Sharma. Along the way, as you do the projects, the case studies, you will be using these various tools, and you don't just learn about them, you have to apply them. So in each course, there's a case study or course end project. Is that correct? Put you on the
Yeah.
spot, Doctor? Yeah.
Yes, sure. Yeah. There are course and projects after each module.
Yeah. And so in each of those projects, you'll be using the tools that are appropriate to each of the courses you're studying. And you'll need to learn how to use the tool and then actually use it, apply it in the project. As Professor said, when you get to the capstone where you're going to tie together all of the skills you've learned, you'll then have a toolkit that you pull from to create that integrated project for that larger challenge. And that leads into this slide, which Professor described. The capstone is pulling together all of the different skills that you learn along the way. So you get to choose a project from several different industry domains. You get to choose from those the one that interests you the most, and you'll work with a faculty advisor for several weeks, checking in with them weekly on your progress and making sure that you're staying on track, not getting stuck on any doubts or blockers. And so at the end of this process, you'll have created your solution to the challenge. So have you been involved in doing the capstone projects with the students, or have direct experience with that, Professor?
No, not so far. Not for this program. No.
Okay, so it's you'd be working with one of the other faculty members, checking in with them, and that allows you to kind of stay on track, so that even as you're required to do the work yourself and build your own personal project, you can make sure that you're not getting stuck anywhere. The wonderful thing about the capstone project is, like all the other projects you do in the program, it goes into your portfolio. So you build up this portfolio of actual experience that you have in solving challenges in business analytics. That way you can provide evidence, proves that you have the skills that you've learned. You can back up your claims to any prospective employer or to your current employer if you're looking for more responsibility or promotion, salary hike, that type of thing. Here are the program advisors from IIT Roorkee. Professor, you're one of them, and you work with the others, so you can tell us a little bit about them.
So I think that in total there are 5 faculty members, and as I mentioned earlier, so a couple of them have changed institutions since we launched the program. So currently, you see 3 of us on the screen. So Professor Ramesh, he's again, all 3 of us are in the operations area, and we teach different courses, and there's some detail. So Professor Ramesh is the associate professor, and 2 of us are assistant professors. And Amit earlier was at Kharagpur. I think for 3-4 years he was a faculty member there. You see some other credentials there, and more details. As I said earlier, I encourage you to visit the website for the department. So that'll list all the publications, the projects, the interdusts, the teaching interdusts, alongside with the information that you see on the screen now.
Mm-hmm.
So that probably is helpful for some learners to sort of,
And you mentioned your other 2 colleagues who are now at other institutions, but are still within the program. So Professor Mukherjee and Professor Tripathi.
There's a slight typo there. So it's Anik Mukherjee. So he's
I'm
now,
sorry.
Kolkata, yes. That's all right. And Professor Tripathi, he's now based at, so Professor Abhinav is a professor in finance, and Professor Amit is in the area of information systems. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you. I'll correct that for future editions. So what I wanted to do is to share with our audience this short video from one of our learners who went through the program, and he'll talk about his experience.
My decade-long experience in the business development sector has made me realize you must know how to analyze data and statistics to grow in your career. I plan to use the business analytics strategic decision making course which I did from IIT Roorkee and Simplilearn to pursue the senior management roles. Hey, I am Sudipta Ghosh. I have 12 years plus of experience in business development. Currently, I am planning to launch my own startup with my friends. Recently, I realized the importance of data analytics for making business decisions. When I started my career, technology was not that vast and data is not readily available. But now it is. I have also realized that companies are looking for people with the knowledge of machine learning. So I decided to choose a professional certificate. Before choosing Simplilearn, I look for other platform too. But the course Simplilearn provides covers everything. The association with IIT Roorkee makes the certification internationally recognized. In fact, my journey with Simplilearn began when I took a course from SkillUp, and I was really impressed. It made me confident about choosing this course. My experience with Simplilearn has been amazing. The course is comprehensive and covers subject of my interest. It has R, it has Python, it has SQL, but also something I have always wanted to learn. Now I think I'm ready to make a new beginning. I'm going to change my domain from business development to big data, learning and analysis. I'm looking forward handling project and handling the profit and loss of my organization. I believe the learning from the course will be very beneficial there. I wanted to be in a senior management role, and I believe this course will help me to get there. I want to thank my wife, who has been very supportive throughout my journey. I am happy that we have such an amazing platform which actually quench my thirst of learning. You should never stop learning.
I actually agree with him. You should never stop learning. So let's ask this question based on what Professor Sharma, Mohan, and I have shared with you. Are you interested in enrolling in the program? Let's pull question open just for about another 10 seconds because it's yes or no. Close it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Share the results. So more than 80% of the folks in our audience said that they are interested. I will share with you now how to make that happen. So the enrollment steps are very straightforward. I'm going to put into the chat, bear with me, do this, the how you get started with the program. Email us at askus@simplilearn.net. Just put that into the chat now. And we'll verify your work history, which is the main prerequisite for the program. We'll also verify your aptitude and your desire to study analytics. Zoom is going to kick me off for a second. I'll be right back. So pardon the interruption. We'll take a moment. Apologies for that. So returning back to our slide. So the next cohort starts 11 May. So you're coming up fairly quickly. The price of the program is $1,49,000. You can do EMI financing at $5,071 a month. And we say act now for two reasons. One, if you act now and enroll in this cohort, you will receive a 20% discount from those fees just for being here at this webinar. So that will be part of the follow-up email to you, but you can also mention that when you email us at askus@simplilearn.net. The other reason we say act now is because the cohort sizes do have certain limitations because of the need for the live sessions to be limited, so the instructors have the ability to pay attention and devote time to each member. So we can't take on an unlimited number of people in each cohort, and therefore it's important that you get started right away and claim your place in the cohort. So we encourage you to email us right away. And we also remind you that if you have an employer who offers tuition reimbursement, some employers do, you can ask them about assistance with these fees. So for those of you who said you were interested, how soon you plan to get started? Is this something you start in the May cohort, or are you looking a little further down the road? I'll leave this open for another 5 seconds. Get your answers in, please. Hit that submit button. I will end the poll now. Sharing the result. If I look at the total, more than 50% of our audience, pardon my weak eyes, lean to the screen, More than 50% of our audience wants to get started either in May or in June, July. Great. You would want to contact us, ask us at simplylearn.net. For those of you looking further down the road, please do also contact us at askus@simplylearn.net, and we will keep in touch with you, keep you advised on future cohorts, and answer any other questions for you. So at this point, we can go into questions and answers. So I will stop sharing my screen. We can go right ahead and take a look at questions that have come in through the Q&A and chat. So first question, of course, is will we get a certificate at the end of this webinar? You can request in the next question after the Q&A, you'll be able to request a proof of attendance for this webinar. It doesn't certify that you have any new skills, but it does certify that you were here. Can you list out the companies you're tied up with? So, Professor, what are some of the companies that you've noticed people coming in from different places? Not that you necessarily have a formal relationship with them, but what are some of the companies who send folks to learn with IIT Roorkee?
So I think Mohan probably, I think I'm not sure if it's referring to the batch coming in, or is it about the placement services? So if it's the former, so we do have, say, again, range of people. So we've had people who have had, say, more than a decade of experience in, say, maybe supply chain, working as consultants in ERP or those areas. SAP. And about the placements, I think Mohan probably will have a better visibility of that.
Okay.
Yep. I think as we covered in the presentation, we will have the premium membership from IIM Jobs, and through that you will be able to apply for the premium jobs listed on that portal. So more details we can share it with you when you connect with our consultants.
Yep.
I hope that. Yeah.
Somebody asked about getting to our course page in the brochure, and we'll share that link after the Q&A. So you'll see some of that information also there. So Belinda asks, why 6 years of experience? Why have you established that as a prerequisite, Professor?
I think the thinking was that otherwise it's we have to keep that to get the right segment of people in. Otherwise, it so happens that the content becomes very hard to design the content. So if it's a very broad spectrum, then it becomes difficult to get the engagement. If you allow, say, freshers as well, then either the content looks too slow to the people who are already experienced. And we believe, say, the programming again, I think is not a prereq, because that thing I think people can learn is if they have exposure to the processes. In fact, then they know what are the unknowns and what can now be known about the process, which then could be useful. So that is the thinking. Segmentation is important. Otherwise, it goes all over the place. Then it becomes very difficult to cater to the wide spectrum of expectations and the requirements of the learners. So yeah, so that's allows us to then design. It's from the design perspective. Yeah.
Thank you.
The content.
We have a comment from Peter who points out that he has more than 5 years of experience, but he's still studying. So given that that there's no degree requirement for this program, your experience, Peter, should qualify you for this. So that's a good thing. A question from a student right now: what course would be helpful? And you can actually contact or ask us at simplylearn.net, or go to our website to look at some of the other options that you might have. So Vipul asked this question: does the program help personnel who have been in analytical decision support to their line managers, but with less knowledge of the processes that are executed at work? So will this help people to provide better analytical support to their managers and executives?
Yeah, again, we encourage you to say look closely at the course contents and then make the decision for yourself. So, of course, that is what you try to marry. So the real problem and the skills that are out there, and we bring both to the table, and then sort of try to establish an interface between them. I think it should be helpful. But again, make a conscious decision and do your due diligence. So, of course, you can write an email as well to get some more details. If you have some specific queries, broadly, sort of, you have listed the core themes that I've alluded to some of the underlying topics as well. So we hope it's useful. But then again, it's best that you take the decision for yourself.
Yeah. With respect to the knowledge of the processes being executed at work, the physical process, if I understand that question, the more you understand about what work your organization does and how, for example, your product is produced, the better you can understand what the data about those processes means, better decision support you can provide. So it's always helpful to gain that knowledge as well. We have a question, is having a math stream compulsory?
So so yeah, it's analytics role. I think it helps if you've had some maths maybe at 12th standard, or maybe if you have studied engineering. But again, an analytical aptitude for sure, I think, is needed. Maths compulsory. Again, go through the contents. If you think you can cope up, I wouldn't say it's necessary, but then a quantitative aptitude and analytical aptitude, I think, is certainly required because it's primarily analytics. We work with a lot of numbers. Do a bunch of things on it. So I wouldn't say math is compulsory. An aptitude is definitely a yes, needed, a quantitative aptitude. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not required to come in with the math background, but it is required to learn about the principles within the program that draw on mathematics. Is it an online course? Yes, this is delivered fully online through our platform. And Sagarika asks, tell us about placement offers after completing this course. So Mohan, you might want to comment, but the Job Assist program is to help you with your job search. It is not a job guarantee program per se. So you could tell people about how that process works a little bit.
Yeah, sure. So as we mentioned during the slide, it's not a job guarantee program. So we'll assist you to find jobs through IIM Jobs Premium membership. Okay. So you can actually consider this as an assistance, not as a guaranteed one from our end. And more details you can see on the website, where we can actually see what is the average placement for Simplilearn learners and which background they are coming from. So it depends on a lot of things, right? It depends on your background, what's your experience, like that.
Ibrahim says, I have no IT experience. Can I still do this course?
Yes. So IT is for sure. Not a prereq. And again, in how these things get actually deployed, so a team, you typically would require IT, getting the right set of information to the right set of people. So there's a lot of that going on. But for this course per se, again, I think IT is not a mandatory requirement. And then I can take the final question. I think, do we get an IIT alumni status? No, not with this certificate program. There are some other offerings. I think there's an EMBA or the department runs that program that gives you that, but that's a longer engagement. That's a full-fledged MBA program. But no, not the certification. So this certification is run through the Center for Continuing Education, and so you get a verifiable certificate is issued through the Center for Continuing Education at IIT Roorkee. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. And that covers our questions. If we haven't gotten to your question, if we didn't see it, please accept my apology. But again, you can contact us through through the askus@simplilearn.net email address and follow up. We will also be sending you a follow-up email after this program with links to the recording of the session and with also links to the discount code for the offer that we mentioned. And I'm going to put into the chat right now how to contact us both through the email address and through our web page. So pull that up. And now you have the link to the web page in that. I will ask one last question, provided Zoom does not interfere with me again. And with this question, this allows you to request that certificate for being here this evening, but also it will let us know that you need us to reach out to you. Okay, Zoom is going to interfere with me, so hold on for just a moment. Let me launch this last poll. Again, answer yes if you are interested in getting that certificate for tonight's session or want us to reach out to you with more information on enrollment. And I'll close the poll in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And about 60% of you said yes, so please expect to hear from us. All of you, of course, will be receiving the link to the recording of the session. And at this point, I'd like to thank Professor Sharma and Mohan George for being here and being so generous with their time and knowledge. Thank you, Professor.
Thank you, Stuart. I think you handled it very well. So thank you.
I appreciate it. And thank you, Mohan.
Thank you, Stuart. Thank you, Professor.
Okay. And I want to thank everybody who made it here this evening, attended the session. We want to welcome you into the learning community with IIT Roorkee and Simplilearn. So we hope that we will see you in future. The QR code can take you to our program webpage, and you also have the link in your chat. So at this point, we're going to conclude the webinar, and as you jump into the chat, grab those links, and we will see you again soon, we hope. Thank you again for being here.